Good morning. Welcome back. Now we move on to another important topic related to adverbs. That is comparison of adverbs. Like you have comparison of adjectives, similarly we have comparison of adverbs. But remember one thing. In adverbs, we compare qualities of nouns. But here in adverbs, since you already know adverbs are used with verbs, the action words. So here we are comparing the actions of different nouns. So this is very important point where you have to remember this. Adjectives describe a noun. They tell us about the quality of a noun. So there we compare the qualities of different nouns or pronouns. And here in adverbs, we compare the actions of different nouns. So like adjectives, adverbs also have three degrees of comparison, which are positive degree, comparative degree, and superlative degree. So positive degree is the first degree of comparison where we talk about the action of one person. In comparative degree, as you already know, in comparative degree we compare two nouns. So here we are comparing the action of two nouns, and in superlative we compare the actions of more than two persons. So we have three degrees of comparison in adverbs, that is positive degree, comparative degree, and superlative degree. So what changes do we bring when we convert positive degree in comparative degree and in into superlative degree? What changes do we bring? See, these are the changes we bring in the words in adverbs. So when we have three degrees of comparison, first is positive. So we talk about the action or adverb of one. We are describing one action here. Like for example, Rahul runs fast. So fast is the adverb for Rahul. His action, his running. So when we are comparing two persons, the adverbs, how two persons do that action, this running action, and the one who runs faster than the other, we write faster. We add er to the word. When we compare two verbs or the actions, or we use adverbs and compare two verbs, we use er at the end. Similarly, when we compare three actions or three adverbs, we use est. So for positive degree, it is the first degree of comparison, or the word adverb itself fast. But when we talk about two, when we compare two persons, then we use faster. And for more than two, remember, this change we only bring when we talk about adverbs which are made of just one syllable. So what is one syllable? I am sure you remember the syllables. Syllables are parts of a word, we break them into. Like when we pronounce a word or when we spell a word, we break the word into different parts. Like there is a, take this word fast, we say it just one breath, we say this word in one breath, that means it is a one syllable word. And when we change it into faster, it becomes two syllable, fast and er, that is fast and then next fastest, again it is a two syllable word, beautifully. See, beautifully is a word which can be broken into three parts. So that means this word beautifully has three syllables. So this is what a syllable is. So when we have a one syllable word, we use er or est with comparative and superlative degree. Now, words ending with ly. That means here we have two or three syllable words. And mostly these are words or adverbs which end with ly. So what do we do here? We use more before that adverb in comparative degree and most in the superlative degree. So for comparative degree, we use more in front of that adverb, and for superlative degree, we use most. So remember this, when it is a one syllable adverb, we use er or est at the end of the word. For comparative, we use er, and for superlative, we use est. And if it is a two syllable word or ending with ly, then we use more in comparative degree and most in superlative degree. Like in the example here, the lion ran fast. So here we are talking about the action of one noun, that is the lion. So here in the next we are comparing two animals. The leopard ran faster than the lion. Fast in the previous example is the adverb, but here if when we are comparing two animals and we have to use adverb for a single syllable word, we use faster. And in the next, the cheetah ran the fastest of the three. Here we are using est. Now for words which are made of two syllables or which end with ly, like in this example, the sea anemone creeps slowly along the ocean floor. Here the word adverb is slowly. But when we compare two animals, then we use more for comparative degree. The snail moves more slowly than the tortoise, and for superlative, the word most. The sloth moves the most slowly of all mammals. Now the run up, let's revise the whole chapter again. As you know, adverb is a part of speech used to describe or modify a verb, an adjective, another adverb, clause, or sentence. So this is just a revision of the whole topic. The first is the definition of adverb, that it modifies a verb, an adverb, or an adjective, or a clause, or a sentence. And adverbs answer the questions. That is how they are categorized into different kinds, because the way they answer the question, that is how they are put in different kinds. If they answer the question how, then those adverbs are put in adverbs of manner. If they answer the question when, then it is categorized into time. So adverbs answer the questions how, when, where, why, in what way, how much, how often, under what condition, and to what degree. I'm sure you remember it all because we have already done this part, and now we are just doing the revision of the whole topic. So example, Mr. Sharma drives his car carefully. Carefully is the adverb here. Here carefully is an adverb. It gives an answer to the question, how does Mr. Sharma drive his car? That means this is adverb of manner. Now let's go to comparison of adverbs. Degrees of comparison for adverbs are similar to adjectives. Degrees of comparison are used when we compare one person or one thing with another. And here we are comparing the action of one person, how the person or noun is doing the action, because they tell us about the adverbs. Similar to adjectives, adverbs also have three degrees of comparison. They are positive degree, comparative degree, and superlative degree. Here again, I am stressing on this thing. Don't confuse comparative degrees of adjectives with comparative degrees of adverbs. In adjectives, we talk about the qualities of the nouns, but here we talk about the actions of the nouns. So remember this part. Now take a look at the following table: positive degree, comparative degree, and superlative. In positive degree, we talk about the action of one person. Nancy ran fast. How did Nancy, just one person, ran? She ran fast. In comparison, in comparative degree, when we compare Nancy with some other girl, so that becomes comparative degree. Sandra ran faster than Nancy. So here we are comparing two persons, and whoever runs faster, we use er for that word. Now superlative, when we compare more than two persons. Pinky ran fastest of all. Now, adverbs consisting of, what did you understand by this? Adverbs consisting of one syllable form their comparative forms by adding er and their superlative forms by adding est. It's a little bit similar to adjectives. Comparative degrees show comparison of two things. Example, John works hard. Here we are talking about one person. Peter works harder than John. Here it is the comparative degree. And in superlative degree, it shows comparison of more than two things. For example, Isabel works the hardest of all. Now, adverbs ending in ly form their comparative degree when combined with more, and their superlative degree by adding most. Example, Mr. Edmund speaks effectively in a meeting. Mr. Sam speaks even more effectively in meetings, and Mr. Sigmund speaks the most effectively in meetings. It is when we have a word which is made of two or more syllables and when it ends with ly. Here are more examples. The cricketers played skillfully. This is positive degree. Abdul could have played more skillfully. Here we are comparing Abdul with the whole cricket team. Of all the 11 players, Srikant played most skillfully. This is for superlative degree. Now, following table lists some more examples of adverbs ending in ly. These are some more examples, but remember, like I said, in English, we use usually more often. Why? Because rules are there, but all words or sentences do not follow the rules. So there are always some exceptions in English language. So wisely becomes more wisely, most wisely, beautifully becomes more beautifully, and most beautifully. But there are also words like early. We don't use more early or most early, we use earlier. It ends with ier, and then earliest. So these are the exceptions. Some adverbs ending in ly do not use more and most for their comparative and superlative degrees. So these exceptions are there. Now there are some irregular adverbs which neither take er or est at the end, nor they use more or most. So what do we do there? They change into totally different words. Like well is a positive degree of adverb. It changes into better in comparative degree, and to best in the superlative degree. Like you remember, in adjectives there is an adjective good that changes into good, better, best. Similarly here the word well changes into better and best. Also, if we use word good, she writes good, then it also can be changed into better and best. Amir writes well, Harshit writes better than Amir, and Ravi writes best of all. More examples of irregular adverbs: much, more, most. Sid does not work much. Vicky works more than Sid. Ahmed works most of the two of them. Some more examples of comparison of adverbs in an irregular manner, like positive degrees badly. Comparative again becomes worse and worst. Little becomes less and least. So it is a little bit similar to adjectives, but again I'm telling you, don't get confused. Here we are only talking about actions, not qualities. Some adverbs do not have degrees of comparisons. So some words do not take comparative degrees. They remain in their positive form. Examples are now, then, where, there, once, not, already, again, yesterday, always, etc. And then remember, adverbs of manner, adverbs of degree, and adverbs of time have degrees of comparison. So this is one more table to give you more examples. Types of adverbs: when we have one syllable, then when the word ends with ly, and then when adverbs end in an irregular manner, like word like well, badly, and all that. Positive form: Jasmine works hard. In comparative degree, we take er, and in superlative degree, it changes into est, hardest. When we have ly, then it takes more with it, and in superlative with most. But in irregular adverbs, the words get changed, like good becomes better and best, badly becomes worse and worst. So again, a run up of the whole topic. You can read it, or shall I read it for you? Okay, I'll do it again for you. Let us revise the main points about comparison of adverbs. Like, adverb is a part of speech used to describe or modify a verb, an adjective, another adverb, clause, or sentence. Adverbs answer the questions how, when, where, why, in what way, how much, how often, under what condition, and to what degree. Degrees of comparison for some adverbs are similar to adjectives. Degrees of comparison are used when we compare one person or one thing with another, particularly the action of the persons. Similar to adjectives, adverbs also have three degrees of comparison. They are positive degree, comparative degree, and superlative degree. Adverbs consisting of one syllable form their comparative forms by adding er, and their superlative forms by adding est. Comparative degree shows comparison of two things or persons. Superlative degree shows comparison of more than two things or persons. Adverbs ending in ly form their comparative degrees when combined with more, and their superlative degrees by adding most. But there are some exceptions to this rule. Some adverbs ending in ly do not use more or most for their comparative and superlative degrees of comparison. Now, degrees of comparison for some adverbs are formed in an irregular manner. Some adverbs do not have degrees of comparison. For example, now, then, where, there, once, not, already, again, yesterday, always, etc. Adverbs of manner, adverbs of degree, and adverbs of time have degrees of comparison. So this was all for adverbs. I hope you understand it. And we move on to next topic, which is prepositions.